My name is Simon Hitchens. I am an object-based sculptor, at least the sculptures I make tend to be object-based. I've got two works in this show. One is a film, which is a new departure for me. I wanted to make a film to push my own sort of material boundaries for the materials I'm working with, but as a way of exploring themes in a different fashion. So the piece is called Genesis. It's a very gentle, poetic piece, really. It's a rock that breathes. The second piece I'm showing in the show is called Ghost. It's more typical of my work. A number of years ago I started to just take pieces of the natural world and represent them. So that's what I'm doing here. We have a 4.5 ton boulder. It's gently balanced. It presents its raw natural face to the outside world as you walk towards the entrance of Hesticum, and the back half is painted white. If you carefully look up and to the right on one of the windows on the first floor, the galleries, you'd actually see its sister piece echoed. I am playing with themes of sort of duality. I'm trying to understand my or our internal spaces. So in the same way that the film was trying to animate something that is inanimate, I am here showing you the inside volume of that boulder which is stood outside on the lawn. So the form is, I think, reminiscent of a human figure. It's got that sort of presence of a human form. There's these sort of dualities between the man-made and the natural world. I've obviously man-made the box, and yet the natural world there outside is the boulder. It is primarily a celebration of the natural world, things which we frequently overlook.
My name is Lathwood and I'm an artist that specialises in sculpture and installation. I've been the artist in residence at Hesticum since May 2014, and this exhibition is the result of all of the research and work that I've made during that time. Most of my practice is really involved in sort of process-based work, which includes a lot of proprietary work and research before the final result of what is actually seen by the audience. For this exhibition, I've been mostly exploring making a type of ink called oak gall ink, or sometimes called oak iron ink, which is made from small galls which exist on oak trees, not exclusive to Hesticum, but all of mine have come from Hesticum, which make a sort of ink that is a very old-fashioned way of making a permanent light-fast ink. One of the other works in the exhibition is a piece called According to Truth and Legend, which is 3 ingots made of bronze. Bronze is an alloy, so it's actually made out of copper and tin. The copper came from the parts of the building that still had a lot of cabling in it from when the fire brigade were originally resident here. And the tin has come from pewter tankards given by volunteers that work at Hesticum or volunteer at Hesticum. So I took those two elements and mixed them together to make bronze, and the ingots have sort of my initials, the date and the stamp of Hesticum on them. I wanted to make ingots because that sort of references the first stage of being able to make something else, and also they hold this kind of value of a gold bar that's quite familiar to a wider audience of something of worth.
My name's Calver. I'm an artist. I work in context a lot. So my practice is often process-led, and there's often quite a lot of chance. One of the first visits that I had when I came to Hesticum was after a really big cedar tree had fallen down in the grounds and planted quite near the big Victorian tower. There was something about that thought of the tree toppling the tower. Came out of a previous project, I think, where I'd been collecting ceramics, and I had some ceramics that had tree forms already on them, and the way that I did that, went to the top of the tower and dropped these pieces of ceramics down through the tower, and that was the starting point. So the work with the collection of ceramics and the dropping of the ceramics down through the tower is called Spill. I was thinking about spill in terms of wasting things and destroying things, and also spill as in spill vase, often in the form of tree trunks. A second piece of work is a sister installation that's called Flame, and that really bounced off thinking about the Hitchens and Jekyll garden and reading some of Jekyll's words about her garden practice. At the end of the corridor is a room where collaborators on this project, Taunton Floral Art Club, will make every week a new floral arrangement based on the theme flame, which I've set and they've gallantly taken up to continue in her tradition really, but using their own interpretation of flame.
I'm Laura Ellen Bacon, and all of my work usually grows into spaces. And at Hestercombe, I am using an entire room and letting the work grow off the wall and towards the light with a kind of force of its own. The material I use most commonly in my work is willow, and it's wonderful to be using it in Somerset because often I use willow all over the UK and beyond actually. So to be using it so close to its home is really exciting. I've used willow for years, and it's all about how I feel I can handle it, literally. And it's about drawing an area of space in the site. In this particular instance, it's a bit of a coincidence that the title is called Second Site, because this work is literally in its second site, second location. It was originally created for an exhibition called Collect at the Saatchi Gallery, and it was all about the interior space within the artwork, and it was called Spatial Place. It was about that interior natural form, and in this instance it's actually about the entirety of the sculpture being recited within this space of the room at Hestercombe. So it's been renamed Occupied because the entire form fills this single space.
I'm Patrick Lowry. I'm an artist. Most of the work I make is large installation pieces, which I suppose this isn't that typical of, really, because most of my work is more about contemporary situations, and this is much more about historic situations. But I got very intrigued when I was invited to exhibit and came to this house. I got very intrigued by the paintings that are here, and one of them by Banfield of this Arcadian landscape really intrigued me. And then you realise that the whole of Hestercombe is based on that whole idea of the Arcadian landscape. And what I've done is made a piece that re-looks at that painting and interprets it back into a 3D piece. But actually you can only see it from one viewpoint. It doesn't work from the other viewpoint. And that's how the gardens work. The whole landscape is constructed with these particular viewpoints. So the work references that.